It has been an exhausting couple of days with a lot of the news that has been happening. I'm going to try not to cry about certain news. I'm going to try not to mention it too much because I'm going to cry. Jonathan Joss, a hate crime that's been deemed not a hate crime. Complete bullshit. This is why you have Pride Month. This is why there are people fighting against that. And on the same day that it happened, my trans nephew graduated high school officially. He's officially an adult who's graduated high school. And so there was deep sadness and deep joy for me at the same time. And it kind of reminds me of the deep sadness and deep joy that I have every year on May 17th, because that's my closest friend, who I call sister, mom of my trans nephew. That's her birthday, but it's also the death day of one of my close friends, Holly, who passed away 3 years ago. So it's like there's another day now. And June 2nd is also the death day of my late uncle, who passed from colon cancer in 2016. And then today is my mom and my aunt, her twins' birthday. Now, I haven't spoken or, done anything with my mom since I was 15, because she's not a good person. She's abusive, but I miss my aunt. And I haven't spoken to her in years because she is completely controlled by my abusive uncle, who is straight up very anti-vaxxer, lots of MAGA Trump kind of rhetoric. He's abusive too. And there's a part of me that is really just can't stand my family that accepts that and doesn't do anything about it and doesn't speak up about it, because I've tried to speak up. I've tried to say something. I've tried to ask, what can we do to help? And people just let it go. I'm like, okay, so you're going to overlook abuse. Okay. It makes sense, that it makes sense that that side of the family, some of the people over there having that mentality, because that's the same kind of mentality that was prevalent when I was a kid, when my mom was abusive. So, it's kind of clicked, like, oh, I see. Gee, I wonder, where you guys got that from. It's been around for a while. It's generational, So there is a lot that's been going on the past couple of weeks with my emotions. So I'm already upset. And I've tried to show some joy. I've tried to kind of get away from all this sadness, all this deep emotion, because it's been overwhelming. A lot of stuff has been overwhelming. And then today, I saw some very awful things online. And I thought, all the bad things that could go wrong, it's not a question of if. You're just asking when. When will it happen? Because I live in a country of when, not if. All the people that are living in this delusion that it can't happen to them. It can't happen to the people they care about. All these people, and I'm not talking about how you still have to go through the day as if nothing happened, because you still have a life to live. And I hate that. I mean, based on all the emotions I just talked about, I hate it because it's like I am so overwhelmed with all these terrible things, with all these terrible emotions. And I just want everything to stop. I want it to stop. I don't want to have to go through life as if it didn't happen. And I've had way too many people say, well, it's not as if it didn't happen. You still know it did. Yeah. But what matters deeply to me is not going to matter to the rest of the world. They will not give a fuck. And unfortunately, that's everywhere. Not just in the US, but across the world. But it's really, really front and center here. Like, all these terrible things have become the norm. And they're not normal. None of the things that are happening are normal here. All these bad things. And it's treated like... Desensitized doesn't even cover the range of how I feel about that. How so many people feel about that. This is a country of when, not if. And we are living in these moments now. We are literally living through history. Like, it wasn't enough to read history, to not just listen to not just comprehend and acknowledge. There are people who knew history, did not want to repeat it, but they never protected it from those who want to repeat it. Because there are always going to be people who want to repeat the bad things, the atrocities. There will always be people who don't care how many people they hurt. They don't care about the trauma that they cause. They just don't. Some of them relish in the idea of hurting others in such a way. And not enough people took responsibility to curtail that. And I feel like I'm watching this awful train wreck. Things that I know are going to happen. It's when, not if. I don't even think train wreck is right. I don't even think that's... I think it's just because that is a term used, but I just can't think of another right now. But when I went online today and I saw something else vile, on top of all the emotions I'm feeling, I felt sad for a different reason. I felt sad because too often in any fandom, I'm not just talking about the K-pop fandoms that I will be discussing this, but in any fandom, far too often you have people that they're fans, but they're under this illusion. Like, they seem to think that they can reason with people. Excuse me. They seem to think that they can use logic, that they can use some sort of like prepared arguments, and that the people who are coming in, you know, all the dude bros, the incels, all the misogynists, all the transphobes, all the bigots, all the people that flood these spaces with the sole purpose of hurting others and not actually caring about the material in which they are shouting and screaming about. Logic will do nothing. Logic doesn't exist to those people that you think you can, I don't know, turn, you know, help them see the light or whatever. It's not going to work. There are some people who make mistakes. There are some people who genuinely don't know better. But I don't think people have enough discernment to distinguish between the two. But there are people who have good faith and they want to know more. They want to do better. So you can talk to them and be like, okay, but there are some people that that's not going to cut it. It doesn't matter what you say or do. They're never going to accept any other reality than their own. And I think when it comes to K-pop, it's especially dangerous because you have far too many of those people who believe themselves to be fans, but they have destructive and harmful behaviors, and they utilize that and they justify it. I'm just a fan. Oh, it's okay to do this. And anyone who seems to stand up to them and say, no, this is not accepted, all of a sudden you're the toxic one or you're gatekeeping. And I think it's because there are not enough people willing to stand up to the bullies. You have to get rid of the niceness. You have to get rid of the idea that everyone is there in good faith, because not everyone is. I already said in another video that there are people who do terrible things in the name of whatever fandom, whatever it is that they're doing the name of. They're not fans. They should not be treated as such. And too often, people are just, they're either too nice about something, or they have the really harmful rhetoric of saying to turn the other cheek or to believe the best of. When someone has shown you who they really are, when they have doubled down, when they continue to hurt others. You know who says to turn the other cheek? And I'm not talking about the Bible. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm talking about human beings. And you know the type of people who use that as their excuse for their behavior? Abusers. Toxic people. Because they want you to accept their behavior. They want you to excuse it. I made a mistake. It's okay. I'm this, I'm that, whatever. And it's just excuse after excuse. But they want you to accept that behavior. To just give them a chance. Someone shows you who they really are, you better believe them. And you need to stop being nice about it. You need to start standing up against the bullies and the toxic people. They are not fans. Stop treating them like they are a fellow fan. Stop treating them like they are the exact same as you. They are not. And the reason I say all that is because no matter what you say or do, they're going to do their behavior no matter what. So it's up to the people within the fandom who would count themselves as fans to actually do something about it. So this is more for you guys than it is for the people doing this harmful behavior. The reason I say all of that, not the beginning emotions, but say all of this when it comes to the whole fandom thing and standing up against that, is because I know from experience when, not if. You saw those pictures of stray kids earlier, right? All you stay out there, you saw that. And you saw the vile comments after it. You saw people saying they're fans, attacking the idols, attacking the people in the pictures. I mean, we all know that this kind of behavior, this kind of culture surrounding this industry is the reason why a lot of idols can't be openly in a relationship because of this kind of behavior, because it will bring out some very horrible people. But it would also put their loved ones at risk. Already, simply having a friend outside of their group is risky on the public space because of people like that saying those kinds of things. How much longer until one of those people are attacked or hurt? How much longer until all the times, and I'm not just talking about Stray Kids, but any of the idol groups, do you know how often I have to calm myself down, now especially, whenever I see any airport videos where they're swarmed, any of these groups, any of the individual artists. I said in another video, I've been angry for years, and it's just seeing it happen again, but with Stray Kids, that really got to me. Because it's when, not if. Having that kind of mob mentality, because let's face it, they're not fans. If they actually cared and saw these men as individuals, as people, or any of the women groups too, if they saw them as human beings, they would not do this. They would realize the risk. Because what's going to happen when you have photos like that circulating? The people in the photos could get hurt. We don't know when, but it'll happen. Because you have those people calling themselves fans, and they're not. And not enough security in the world could prevent tragedy if you have too many people in a mob swarming them, swarming any of these groups, any of these individuals at an airport. Not enough security could ever deter someone who is that determined. Someone who feels slighted because an idol decided to take a picture with someone that they, the so-called fan, didn't vet themselves. When, not if. That's the thing. So many times I've said, but other people have said too, warning others like, hey, something bad could happen. No, it will happen. You just don't know who and when, but it will happen because of this behavior. That is guaranteed. And I'm glad that there were people calling these others out, the people with the toxic behavior. I'm glad that they were called out. I'm glad that real fans stood up and said something. But when? When is this going to really happen? Because it will happen, not if. And that's the problem, is that there are too many people, I think, within fandoms that are living under their own delusion that if you try to speak to these people, if you try to warn others, if you say like, no, let's have better behavior, they don't care. The people doing this, they don't care. They're not going to listen to you. They're going to still do whatever they're going to do because they want to, because they believe that they're entitled to that behavior. And it doesn't matter what country. I mean, there are other countries that have some really terrible airport videos. I saw some ones from ATs recently. And I was like, I felt claustrophobic just looking at it. And I do have claustrophobia. I do have really bad claustrophobia. But there was also quite a bit of anger and grief. Grief at the thought that any moment one of those videos could be one of their last because of those people swarming them, claiming that they're fans, claiming that they care about them. They don't, though. They're just people chasing after the fame. They're just people chasing after these idols because they happen to be famous, because they are in, because they're the trend, because they're popular, or whatever other reason that these kinds of people could come up with as to why they would act that way. But they don't, these so-called fans, these non-fans, they don't care. No matter what you say, no matter what I say, they're not going to listen to that. So you need to actually do something. Do I have the answers for all that? No. But I'm telling people, this isn't some warning. This is telling you what will happen. And I'm so tired of, I had to take some water. I'm sorry, I had to pause. I'm so tired of hearing people within fandoms say, let's not fight, let's not do this. No. Having a difference of opinion is not the same as what's happening here. There are people willing to stand up against toxic behavior, against sexual harassment and abuse, because that has happened too. I'm not just talking about Twitter, I'm talking about threads. There are some really awful people posting some really horrible things for some idols. And yeah, myself and many others were like, nope, we're reporting and blocking, and let's spread the word. Let's report and block. Let's make sure people know this is not okay behavior. This is not acceptable. It's not infighting when you're standing up to toxic and abusive people. That's not infighting. I'm so tired, so exhausted by people within the fandom acting like there's some sort of authority on it. Saying like, let's not do this in the fandom. Let's not do this. Let's not say that. That's just too much. You don't like confrontation? Fine. Then get out of the way so the rest of us can actually do something about this. Because this behavior is not okay. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. This happens to be the topic I'm talking about now. But it doesn't matter if it's a fandom. It doesn't matter if it's in a political spectrum. It doesn't matter where it is. I'm going to call out toxic and abusive behavior. I'm going to call out people who are homophobic and transphobic, people who are racist, people who are bigots, people who are misogynistic. I'm going to call them out. It doesn't matter what environment it is. That behavior is not welcome. So this happens to be the topic, this kind of fandom. Specifically at this point, because I mentioned those photos, Stray Kids. But that doesn't mean that my attention is solely on that and solely within that fandom, because I do that all the time. You can literally go to my threads and you can see all my history of all the people that I call out constantly. And because I do want to protect myself, because I do want to protect others, I, along with many others, call block parties. We literally just screenshot, we take receipts of the terrible behavior, the terrible words being used, all the slurs, all the bigotry, all the people who are calling for violence or threatening people. We make sure we get the receipts. We make sure we screenshot everything. And then we tell people about it, we post about it, we share constantly. And we say, block party for this person, report and block. And if they are especially heinous, we will include do not engage. We will put trigger warnings if it's related to certain things. I have done that many times. There are times when I did not have the capacity to look at anything, to get receipts of anything, because it was so horrible because of my complex PTSD. So I would put a trigger warning, and others would too. Trigger warning, this is about rape, this is about sexual assault, this is about a person threatening to do these awful things to another. So we would do that because we are a community looking out for each other, because we understand this is not okay behavior. So this isn't something new to me. The way that I'm acting when it comes to this specific topic, those photos, those people, Stray Kids, my mentality towards this, my words in this are not new. I do that with everyone equally. But it is exhausting going through a lot of the threads of people who are within the fandom who are constantly talking about not infighting. I've been pretty aggressive in the past when I said this, but I'm going to say this as clearly as possible, that maybe someone can understand. If you don't want to confront people, you don't want to get involved with something, fine. But stay out of our way so that we, the people who want to do something, can do something. When we are speaking up, we are speaking up. And we do not want people to get in our way. I'm not going to bulldoze you over. But I'm going to be really upset that you are trying to stop me from advocating for others. That you seem to think that my behavior is problematic. Like, I am not a nice person. I've said that before. I really wish people would understand that. I really wish people would understand that. I really have way too much love in my heart. And that's where people have used that to their advantage. But I'm not nice. I can't afford nice. I don't have the luxury of nice. Because I see people hurting and I want to make it stop. And I'm tired of people getting in my way. Because to me, if you're going to get in the way of advocacy, if you are going to step in front of someone who is standing up to the bully, someone who is standing up to the abuser, if you're going to get in the way and say, let's not do this, you are allowing that to happen. You are allowing the abuse to happen. You are apologizing for it. You are accepting its reality and not wanting it to stop. That is literally how I'm seeing this. And that is literally how many people who have ever gone through that see it. You are standing in the way of people trying to protect others. I may not bulldoze you over, but I'm not going to be nice when I tell you, move. So, I may not have an answer on how you can stop all these really unhinged people with toxic and abusive behavior from doing the terrible things. But maybe if you do not want to deal with confrontation, maybe if you don't want to be involved in it. Sorry. I had to get more water. I'm really not hydrating today, I guess. These little pauses, they interrupt this flow of dialogue, don't they? Either way, now I'm just repeating myself. It's just, if you're going to be part of a fandom and you want to promote a welcoming behavior and happiness, that's fine. But there are those of us who see this awful behavior and we want to stand up and stop it. We want to say something and do something. So turning on us and saying that we're just as toxic is not helping anyone. You're literally apologizing for that behavior and allowing it to continue. Because as much as you want to have a happy everything, as much as you want that to be the reality, it's not. As much as you can escape into music and as much as you can escape into these heartwarming and heartfelt and endearing moments with these idols, which, by the way, you don't know personally, so this is all kind of make-believe anyway. As much as you want to enjoy that, reality sets in when those awful people come in and try to destroy everything. And there are many of us who see that and see people being hurt because of that, and we want to stop that. So if you see someone who's calling out behavior in a fandom, and because I mentioned stray kids, I'm talking to stays here, actual stays, not these non-fans that come in and try to cause all this harm, but actual stays. You don't like that behavior, please don't get in the way of us who are advocating, who are standing up and calling that out and saying, let's block this. Let's not do this. Let's report this. You don't want to get involved with that? Fine. But do not stand in our way. You want to protect the group? You want to protect these men? You want to protect their career or the people they care about in their lives? Let someone stand up for them then. You say that you're there for them, right? That you support them? Maybe we are too, but maybe our support looks different than yours. That doesn't invalidate it. It's just incredibly exhausting whenever I see so many threads, so many comments. People are trying to be like, we should all get along, we should all do this. And it's like, I'm sorry. As much as I like to escape into things, and trust me, I've had to escape a lot in many different aspects. Some of it reading, some of it writing, some of it, other art forms, photography. I've had to find ways to cope and survive some very awful things in my life. So I get wanting to escape, especially if you're going through what a lot of people are going through right now in this world and in the US and across the world. Like what's happening in the Congo and Sudan and Gaza. I get it. But at the same time, this is also reality. So if you don't want to stay in reality, please let those of us who are in reality do something about this bad behavior. I don't know what we could possibly do to prevent, because as I said, when, not if, this kind of behavior is going to cause harm to someone. I don't have that answer. But I'm tired of people standing in the way. I'm tired of people trying to say, let's all just get along. Let's not do this. You can only placate so much. You can only try to harmonize so much. Also, mind you, I've said this before, and I'm just going to point out real quick that I posted this comment on Threads, and I mean it too, because there was someone in real life who doesn't know me very well. And they heard that, I was into stray kids, and they're like, oh, so you got into Deadpool because of Bang Chan, right? I'm like, I'm 11 years older than him. I got into Deadpool when I was 14, when he was a literal toddler. I'm seniority here, okay? I have been into Deadpool much longer than him, okay? Unless his parents were like throwing Deadpool everything at him when he's 3 years old. Or before then. Now, I may not know him personally, but I highly doubt that. So, someone, I literally looked at him because this is real life. So I'm, it's like in real life, like in person. I'm just like, I've definitely, I'm older than him by 11 years. So I've been into Deadpool longer than he has. So it is not because of him. And anyone who has known me throughout my life could attest to that. So I was like, I know you don't know me very well, but that's not, And they're like, then again, they also forgot my age, this person in real life, because they don't know me like really well. So they're just like, wait, you're how old again? And I'm just like, okay. The reason I bring that up is because I have been really into Deadpool for a very long time. So when I say this, I mean this. Deadpool would not have accepted this kind of behavior. Deadpool would definitely have told people, get the fuck out of my way. Now, granted, he is just chaos incarnate, and yeah, he's pretty violent. But his mentality is literally like, I have this kind of moral compass, and he would not accept that kind of treatment towards others. It's funny because a lot of the fanboys of Deadpool were just like, really only really into his violence and not into anything he stands for as a character. Haven't actually read the material. Like, oh, he's totally into this. He would totally support this kind of person. I'm like, oh, that child predator? No. He has, yeah. If you know Deadpool. Oh, no. He would not have accepted or been really nice or kind at all in any way to a child predator. Okay? So you're definitely wrong on that. But Deadpool wouldn't have accepted this kind of behavior. Just saying that the mentality of being nice and trying to keep everything just, oh, let's all be copacetic. Let's just, oh, we're all friends. No. He would literally look at you and be like, why the fuck are you in my way of doing what needs to be done? Why are you bothering me? Why are you wasting my time when I could have done something to help this person? He's a lot more crass than I am, for sure. But to kind of get you into my head a little bit, this mentality I have towards this is why I'm frustrated. Because it isn't just K-pop or Stray Kids or this fandom. It's everything that I'm advocating for. I'm really pushing that. I'm pushing for disability rights too. I'm not simply because I'm also disabled, but my kids and people I don't even know. I literally served the Navy for 8 years, protecting a country full of assholes that don't give a fuck about me or my rights or anyone else's rights. And I still served. I still think that they deserve like free healthcare and to not go hungry and to have a home. Literally just the basics there. But I advocate for all of this stuff. Like it's not simply this topic. Like you can literally see the history of what I post and what I've done and what I've talked about many times over. And each time I've consistently stated, this is my mindset. Tired of people trying to tell me that I'm being too aggressive, too obnoxious, too whatever for simply advocating. Yes, I've had to correct some behavior in the past. And I even have a video recently where I had some toxic behavior that I had to address. And I say I had to because I'm calling myself out there. So no one called me out on that. Like, I chose that. I chose to do that because it was the right thing to do. But I've had a consistent mindset where I'm literally calling people out. I'm literally making others aware of bad behavior so they can avoid it for their mental health, for their physical health too. If there's, there are people that we reported who were child predators, like on threads, like people who were literally trying to catfish younger people, or that they've admitted that they were a child, sexual predator. So yeah, that made the rounds too, where we're posting and reposting and making people aware of this person that exists, that has a record, saying, hey, this is not okay. Hey, if you're near this area, beware. We're trying to protect people, like actually protect them. So I've had that mentality all over the place. So not just here. So when I tell you that I'm exhausted by people constantly getting in the way and constantly trying to justify that kind of behavior existing instead of letting people call others out, and instead they're calling it infighting or saying that we're gatekeeping. No, we're trying to protect people, not just the group, but people within the fandom. You don't know what someone else's history is. You don't know what they've been through. So if they come across these kinds of comments, these kinds of posts that have wording that may be similar to an abuser they had in the past, or maybe that's someone who is like fat shaming or just body shaming in general, that could cause some damage, some harm to that person that you don't even know, but they're part of the fandom. And yet you are standing there trying to say that anyone standing up to or calling out is also toxic, is infighting. I'm literally at this point where I'm like, make it make sense. Do you actually care about protecting people, or are you just trying to maintain the facade of warmth and joy that doesn't always exist? It cannot eternally exist. I'm sorry. If you want to maintain that space for yourself, fine. I will live in reality, and I will continue fighting, and I will continue to try to protect others. I can escape sometimes just to have a moment to myself because everything is chaotic and not in the good way. Because I'm definitely chaotic. My ADHD is all over the place, but this is not the good kind of chaos. So yeah, I would need moments too, but I don't live in that fantasy full time. And there are way too many people who are comfortable living in that fantasy full time. So why don't you go live in that fantasy and you let those of us who are still living in reality do something? And maybe one of us within this group, maybe someone will have an answer on possibly preventing, because I remember when, not if. Because if you keep letting this behavior exist, it will happen. Someone will get hurt. Do you know the chances, the likelihood of one of the members of this group, of any of these groups, the chances of them being attacked, I mean full on attacked, rises exponentially when there are mobs, because they're all claiming they're fans, right? Be very easy for someone to hide in there that could get close enough and hurt them. There's not enough security to prevent something like that. And I'm not saying that anyone should do that, because I'm not just saying for legal purposes, but I'm saying this right now. If someone were to try to do that, oh, I'm not going to be nice when I say this. You don't just deserve the worst fate. Like, you deserve that tenfold. And I hope someone helps you meet that fate. If you were to actually do something like that, I hope you are hunted down and made an example of. If you are the kind of person who would actively try to harm another. As I said, I'm not nice. I don't believe in happily ever afters because it doesn't exist. And that's not me trying to be a pessimist. That's me being a realist. It doesn't exist. You can do the best you can with what you've got, but nothing is ever happily ever after. Not completely. It never will be. But when, not if. There's absolutely going to be someone who's going to try that. And maybe someone has, and we just haven't heard about it. But there's going to come a day when it openly happens. So, are you going to be the type to support others protecting whoever it is that they want to protect? Or are you going to stand in the way of that? You get to decide. It is literally all a choice. You get to choose how you protect someone, how you support someone. Sometimes support looks like you getting out of the way, you taking a step to the side and letting people get in there to do what needs to be done. And in this case, it is literally just advocacy, it is literally just calling people out for who they really are and warning others, protecting others, because it's not just the idols. They're human beings too, and yes, I definitely want to protect them, but this fandom is huge. All these fandoms are huge. There's so many people affected by your words and actions. Something they come across randomly on the internet. Wouldn't it be awesome if instead of a horrible jump scare, instead of coming across something that could trigger something very bad in them, they see someone saying, trigger warning, I want you to know something bad is happening. Please block this person. Please report if you have, if you feel comfortable doing it, but just just block. Please just do this. This is for your safety. This is for your mental health. It's nice when you have people doing that because they're looking out for you. So it's not simply these guys in the group. I'm trying to look out for the fans too. I'm trying to look out for all these people that they will never know, that I will never know personally. It doesn't matter if I will ever meet them or any of the other fans. It doesn't matter. Because they're human beings and it's the right thing to do. So I'm tired. I'm exhausted by how much it seems like I'm standing up and calling people out awful, vile people claiming to be a fan of something. And then I'm getting attacked by people saying that I can't do this. That's not okay. We need to get along. And it's like, no, we don't. Not like that. Not when you are excusing abusive and toxic behavior. Not when you are letting it happen. I've been saying this constantly for years. Not about stray kids, but for years about a lot of things. And honestly, a lot of times online, I'm not even talking. I'm literally just following what others are doing, what other advocates are doing. I'm literally just boosting their voice. I'm literally just learning from them how to be a better advocate, how to do better as a person. And that's how I'm supporting them, because there are things that I will never be able to talk about that I have never experienced. So it is not my job to speak on the topic. It is my job, my obligation, if I want to be a decent human being, to boost those voices who have experienced it, who do know what they're talking about. It's my obligation, if I want to be a decent human being, to shut up, to comprehend what they're saying, to acknowledge it, and then share that knowledge. Not to center myself, not to say I know about this topic when I don't. That's how I support those other people that they experience something I will never know. Like a good example, racism. I'm not going to talk about that, but I will boost the voices of those who do understand and know it. In this case, I'm standing up to bullies. I'm standing up to toxic and abusive people who are saying and doing terrible things, who don't see others as human beings. I'm tired of fighting on two fronts, because I'm choosing to call people. I'm choosing to go forth and say, I don't know who these people are, but I want to protect them. I do not want them hurt. I don't know who those people in the photos are. I've never met them. I've never seen their faces before. One of them, I think, is a musician, and I heard what was on his threads, and I really liked it, so I followed. Because that's what I do with musicians. I listen to something, it resonates with me, I'll follow. I will give it a chance. The other person, I went to their page, and it looks like they're a photographer. And I loved a lot of their posts. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I love this post as a fellow photographer and as an advocate, because they had some advocacy stuff there too. I was like, damn, I didn't know these people existed before today. I don't care. I don't want them to be hurt by this. I don't want them to suffer. I'm making a choice to protect people I don't even know. So I'm telling people, I'm not asking, I'm telling people that I'm doing the best I can. Are you? Because if you're not, please get out of my way. Please get out of anyone's way who's trying to advocate, who's calling these people out, who's saying, I want to protect others. Stop fighting us on this. Stop telling us that we're gatekeeping. Stop telling us that we're toxic for calling out toxic behavior. I don't like it when I look at people and start to realize I can't trust them. Trust is a really hard thing for me. So when I see all these people who are saying they're fans do that whole, you must get along no matter what. I know I cannot trust those people now. I cannot trust them. So I've actually blocked a lot of people recently that said that they were fans, because all they did was promote getting along, but completely ignoring the other toxic behavior, completely ignoring what is being said. And I get that, yes, I've had to correct my wording. I've had to correct how I say things, how I present things. That's on me. But just the act of advocacy, just the act of calling someone out for toxic and abusive words and behavior, just that act alone. At this point, I don't even know why I try sometimes to say this stuff. Because it feels like no matter what I say or do, someone is going to misconstrue it. I can't even speak. Misconstrue it. Someone is going to say that, like, I'm a hater, or that I'm doing something wrong, or that, it's just, it doesn't matter. There's going to be so many people who don't care. I think that's the part that bothers me about this too, is that they don't care. They only care about living in that fantasy world. They only care about what they're getting out of it, and they're centering themselves. And that's fine, but just please get out of the way so that those of us who want to care about others, we can do so. Like, there's so many things that I want to openly advocate for that I can't even do because it would put my family at risk. I can't go marching. I can't wave certain flags. I could lose my job and my means of protecting my kids. Like, anything happens to this, I will lose everything. And if I lose everything, I lose my kids, because the laws are not kind to single parents or single women. So there are so many things that I can't even speak out about openly. So I do a lot of things behind the scenes. I donate to certain organizations. I write letters to people in my state or another. I share posts, constantly sharing posts online, constantly promoting and boosting the voices that can do something, that are able to do something openly. Trying to show my support in other ways, trying to help people in other ways, sending mutual aid, reposting and posting again and again and again, mutual aid for people who need help with bills, who lost their home in a fire, so it's like, I'm trying to do all this work to help others. So yeah, I'm frustrated if someone stands in the way of doing that. If someone is telling me that doing so is toxic, because it dilutes their fantasy. It interrupts their happy environment. I don't know. So I guess no matter what I say or do, there's going to be people who are just going to be against that. And it's exhausting. I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to do this because I choose to. It's like my kids. I choose them every day. It's not enough that I'm fulfilling an obligation to raise my kids. Like, they're my kids. That's not good enough. I have to go a step beyond if I actually want to break generational abuse. If I want to actually raise them to be kind, loving individuals who will also not just stand up for themselves but others, who will see something and say something, who will not treat others disrespectfully. If I want my kids to grow up to be critical thinkers, I have to invest in them. I have to see them as human beings and individuals. I have to meet them at their level. I have to choose them. I have to choose to love them, not simply out of obligation, but because I'm choosing them. That is how I see advocacy. That is how I see standing up for others. I am choosing this. I don't have to do that other part. This is kind of an obligation, but I'm still choosing my kids every single day. I'm choosing to love them. I'm choosing to see them as they are and accepting that and embracing that. I am choosing to protect people I don't even know because I see them as human beings. And a lot of times in my past, in my anger, I'd say like, oh, those bad people, they're not even human beings. And that's not right. No, they're human beings. Bad human beings, but they're human beings. I will fight for the right for people to have equal access to things, even if they're complete assholes, even if they're complete dickheads. I don't care. They should still have equal access. Everything should be across the board. But people I don't even know, I am choosing to stand up for. So is it any wonder why I'm exhausted now? Because I'm tired of people saying I should get along with others. I should do it this way. I should do it that way. No. I'm going to do it the way I want to. Because the way I want to happens to also not be completely toxic. And whenever I make a misstep, I'm correcting myself. Because it's the right thing to do. Not because someone is telling me to. Like, I am holding myself accountable because I really strongly believe that. Do I expect other people to do that? No. That's the whole reason why I'm telling people to step aside. I do not expect you to be like me. I do not expect you or even care if you want to choose what I'm choosing. I don't. I do not give a flying fuck what you want to do with your individual life. You want to stay in whatever fantasy world you're in. That's fine. Do what you like. Just do not interrupt my flow when I'm trying to protect others, okay? Like, I think that's the hardest. That is the hardest part to get through to people. Because there's no logic for the bad actors, for the people who are literally not fans and just in there to cause mayhem, to cause harm to others. There's no getting through those people. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. They don't see anyone as human beings. They see everyone as objects to manipulate, abuse, and hurt. They do not care. But the actual fans, the people there, that's the hardest. That's the hardest to reason with, is people who do not have those kinds of toxic behaviors are not choosing to implement those toxic behaviors, but there's still, I'm not expecting you to be an advocate. I am not expecting you to do any of the things I'm doing. You don't want to confront people. You don't want to get involved in any kind of drama or whatever. That's fine. Go do you. Like, please go do you. Go and do your thing. Just don't get in the way of me doing my thing, okay? Just don't. Like, I'm not even like, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm not even, like, I don't even see myself as some sort of like hero or anything. I don't even see myself as some sort of morally right person. I just see myself existing and wanting to help other people continue to exist. Like that's my focus. I don't want anything in return. I really do not. Like that's like, I do things because it's the right thing to do, not because I expect anything in return. Like, I don't even see myself as some sort of savior or anything. Like, there have been so many people that I stood up for who were complete assholes about it. I don't fucking care. At least you're safe and not dead, okay? Like, I just want you alive. I want you to live. You want to go off in your own little fantasy world, that's fine. Go do it. Just, like, I'm not even, like, some morally high person or whatever. Like, I am definitely not an innocent person. I am definitely not some, literally, that's kind of similar to my mindset. Like, I'm not a hero. Not a hero. I'm not a savior. Not a person who expects anything for it. Just, I'm choosing to do this thing because I want people to live. I want people to be protected. So just get the fuck out of my way, please. I'll even throw in a please there. Please get the fuck out of my way. Get the fuck out of all of our way. All of the people that want to do the same thing. Just go. Please go. Do your thing. Chill. Pretend that none of this is happening. That is totally okay. Totally fine. I am not expecting you to subscribe to any of this stuff. I'm not expecting you to care the way that I'm caring or other people are caring. I do not have any expectations for others to do that. None. I just want people to get out of the way and to stop badgering others in the way that I've been badgered, but like mostly others. So it's like, because I haven't commented a lot, I am not targeted as much. But there are people who are similar to me in my mindset and advocating and being like, hey, this is not cool behavior, we're going to call it out. And others are just going on the attack. So seeing all that, I'm just like, it needs to stop. Again, when, not if. I don't have the answer on how we can actually protect their lives. Like, I am not a genius. I'm not some tactical, just, yeah. But at the very least, if any of us are going to do something to help them or protect them in ways that security cannot, at the very least, we need people to support us and them by not getting in the way. And you're getting in the way if you're constantly talking about, let's not infight, it's not infighting. It's calling out bad behavior that should not be there. So, all right, I've rambled on enough. If anyone happens to get through this entire video, I don't know. I mean, I call it rambling, but really it's me getting out a lot of these emotions. And in this topic, it feels a little bit better saying it out loud. Being like, you know what? Like, I've said this stuff on threads constantly. You can literally go and see all my threads. You can literally go and see everything that I've liked and all the things that I've constantly reposted and all the things that I've posted and talked about. Literally everything I just said, I do. When I say I'm doing something, I'm doing something. I don't just talk about it. Like, I actually do the thing. Like I talk the talk and walk the walk. I literally do that. So it's literally all there on my threads. But yeah. I mean, the other emotional stuff, that's going to be hard for the next few days. I think part of me wanted to get that out in the beginning because then I can be like, all right, I got that out of the way. Let's focus on this. So yeah. And as per usual, I don't know how to end these because I'm really terrible at them. Yeah. I think it's like futile to just try to... Futile? How is it pronounced? I can't remember. A lot of things I don't know how to pronounce because I just read them and didn't hear them actually spoken in a sentence. So, and sometimes it doesn't help if you look it up in the dictionary and try to do the whole phonetic thing, because sometimes the phonetic, it depends on the dialogue, depends on the environment or the location that you're at. Because, I mean, different countries will pronounce things differently. And then literally it can change from like one county to the next in the same state. So in the US. So, I mean, and that's how it is. Like, dialects per region in a lot of other countries. I mean, so yeah. So I don't even know. Futile. I'll say futile. I think it's futile for me to want to ask anyone within the US and any of the other tourist stops to take my words to heart. And honestly, a lot of people aren't going to probably watch this because it's so long, because I am a talker and I don't edit my videos. They're literally just there. So I doubt anyone would have the attention span to see all of this and be like, oh, hey, I mean, if someone wanted to piece together a clip or whatever, I guess, but even if I had a shorter clip summarizing all of that to be like, bum, 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 and then please, let's not do this here, here, here. People aren't going to, no one listens to me. I don't really think anyway. That's the part that I think I am discouraged on sometimes. This kind of topic, I've spoken about a lot. I've talked about this kind of stuff a lot. And a few people might see my things and be like, okay, cool. My videos, and be like, yeah, all right. Or I enjoy this or whatever. But I'm not exactly like a person that has a big platform or, has a lot of followers in anything, really. I'm considered like a baby account on Threads. I mean, there's like 500 something there. There's like 50 something here on YouTube. And then actually Blue Sky, I think I have like 600 something. But a lot of it's like people that came over from Threads, and then a whole bunch of other people that I don't even know. I'm never on Blue Sky. I hardly ever post there. And then I'm not on Twitter, anymore. But it's just, and I have like 100 of the closest, I mean, absolutely closest on my private Facebook. And then I have like 70 something on my private Instagram. So, I mean, I do not have like a huge following. I don't have a lot of people that would, I think, listen to a lot of my stuff and be like, okay, let's spread the word. And I definitely don't have any kind of content that would go viral, because I'm not a viral person and I don't do this stuff to go viral. But it is kind of disparaging sometimes, thinking about the fact that I'm talking about something, but it's not going to get to a lot of people. Things that I think are important, things that I think would possibly make a difference in a very big way. But I can't be the only person that thinks that or has felt that. So, I don't know. It's just, all right. I will stop here because I'm already starting to tangent again. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep calling people out and advocating. I'm going to keep boosting the voices that can speak on things that I cannot. I'm going to still keep doing this. It's just, at some point, I just really don't want to deal with those people getting in my way of stuff. It's like, I'm trying to protect people. I'm trying to keep people alive. I want these people to exist. Whether I know them or not, whether I even like them or not, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I want them to be alive. Please stop getting in the way of me trying to keep them alive. Even if I'm not like an important person to them, even if I, in the grand scheme of things, am not like this ultra figure that can like change the course of history or whatever. Like, I don't put that kind of importance on myself. But it's like, I would still lend my voice to this cause. Please stop getting in the way of that. So I'm going to keep doing the thing, but I'm going to be frustrated when people try to stop me from doing the thing. I've said in physical therapy, I'll say this all the time. I'll do the thing, but I will complain about the thing because I don't like when people mess with me doing the thing. I will do the thing, but I will complain. I don't want to hear you whining about me complaining. That's pretty much how it feels. Like, let me have this moment because I'm working very hard for this. Just it feels like sabotage sometimes. It really does. Like, these people don't know me, so they're not actually purposely sabotaging me. They're just doing this in general to anyone within the fandom, to anyone within any of these fandoms. So it's like, it's not personal. but it's still frustrating. I don't know when you're seeing this, if you do see this, but hopefully your day does not suck. I don't know how else to say that. All right, bye.